We had a Super Bowl 54 rematch, and then that ended up going the same way. From that now to a Super Bowl 57 rematch, both these sides are a little different from the last time these two sides met.
Let's talk football.
All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the All Around Sports Podcast, where sports are everything on this channel. I'm your host, Antonio. Today, we are going over my Super Bowl 59 NFL prediction for the Kansas City Chiefs, again making the Super Bowl against the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, this was a Super Bowl 57 rematch, of course, remembered blatantly by the holding call in the last few minutes on Juju Smith-Schuster against James Bradbury. But this time, things are a little different. I'm going to explain more about this coming up. Anyway, but before we get started, if you guys do enjoy this video, please make sure to do me a favor and smash that like button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. For now, let's get into the prediction. This prediction, we of course know the Kansas City Chiefs are going against Philly. But to kind of flashback to some of the stories of this team, these two sides from the past year, the Chiefs were remembered for looking like one of the most suspect teams in the regular season. Primarily, notably, they had their only loss with their starters against the Buffalo Bills in Week 11. But they was not known mainly for that. Before the postseason started, they had originally had two close margins of victory over the Carolina Panthers and Las Vegas Raiders before entering into the playoffs as the number one seed. Of course, we know that the Chiefs would beat the Houston Texans in two very controversial calls, which I can see right now the Texans' case for the referees being on the Chiefs' side, but that's another story for another day. But then we had the last game that they played, the AFC Championship game, where they beat Buffalo.
You were right about one thing. This ends now.
But primarily, now I didn't see this going into the video I made talking about who won the game and who lost if the Bills lost it. I did not know. Looking at that game, I had no idea that Dalton Kincaid had a chance to catch the ball on 4th and 5. I looked back at it a few times, and Kincaid has to make that catch. And maybe that's just the Ravens, Mark Andrews in disguise. Who knows? But the Chiefs have been mainly known for looking suspect, but look at where they are. On the brink of the first repeat in NFL history. As for the Philadelphia Eagles had a whole different story. They had a massive free agency signing in Saquon Barkley, as Saquon Barkley would become a 2,000-yard rusher and is only a few yards out from breaking the postseason record for the most rushing yards in a single season, including the playoffs. But the Eagles, they had a lot of really good wins. Primarily notably is the two wins against the Cowboys, sweeping them for the first time in a while. But the Eagles, they had a different road. They were the number 2 seed going into the playoffs. They ended up beating the Green Bay Packers because they were primarily injured, with Christian Watson out of that game. But then they went into the Los Angeles Rams game as the home team, and then they would go out there and beat them. But of course, they had to make it a little intense for their fans as they let the Rams drive down the field, only to cut their hopes short. Which, thank you again, by the way, Eagles. I appreciate that. But then they had the 55-point win against the Washington Commanders. Now, I took the mistake of going with the Commanders. I'm not picking them again if this is the same matchup going into next year. But the Eagles, the main thing we look at them and say that could win them the game is Saquon Barkley. Since he was signed to the Eagles with the Giants questionably letting him go, the Eagles are now in position to do something that they've not been in since 2019, which is win a Super Bowl, which was, of course, with Joe Flacco. But the last time these two sides met up, it was a close battle. I'm expecting it to be really close again. A key I have for the Philadelphia Eagles is to run the ball to Saquon. If they run it to Saquon and can run it down the Chiefs' throat, they can have a chance to win the game. As for their defense, it has to stop Patrick Mahomes. We saw the Chiefs in a tied ball game in the AFC Championship game. The Bills allowed them to come back on him because of the defense. If the Eagles are going to have any shot of winning this game, it's going to be on the defensive side of the ball when Mahomes has the ball. You need to be able to stop that man. And of course, this Eagles defense has been one of the better defenses in the NFL. As for the Chiefs, for their offense, it's of course the key of Patrick Mahomes being the showman on the field. If he can play all world like he's done in every single Super Bowl he's played, except for the Buccaneers one, he can have a chance to win a game. He can have a chance to win a third straight, which has, of course, never been done. But the defense, on the other hand, it's going to be having to stop Saquon Barkley. They did a good job of stopping James Cook and Josh Allen. But what are you going to do against one of the better running backs in the NFL? Probably arguably the best running back in the NFC. Now, as for my prediction, I've been kind of going back and forth on teams that I want to pick. I'm going back and forth on these two. But I think we all know who's going to win this one. It's the Kansas City Chiefs. I know nobody's going to like to hear this, but the Chiefs are destined to three-peat. I felt it since the beginning of the playoffs when they had the number one seed. I felt that Kansas City was going to make another Super Bowl appearance, and they did. And now I feel that they're going to ultimately win it all because we've seen this from the Chiefs. They've won 9 straight playoff games in the playoffs, 7 of them coming by one score margins. If you're going to be the champs, you have to go in and beat the champs. And if the Chiefs do it, they are going to cement themselves in history. And I'll personally have Patrick Mahomes as my GOAT, pretty much, because now he would excel himself over Tom Brady, in my personal opinion, because he would have one thing that Brady wouldn't, the three-peat. Brady never had that. And I would say if the Kansas City Chiefs do this, they would make history, and I believe Patrick Mahomes would be considered the GOAT of the NFL. So I have the Chiefs getting the win. It's going to be a really close game. The score prediction I have for this game is kind of similar to the last time they met. But I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs in a final score of 45-42. Of course, made by a game-stealing field goal by the Chiefs. But, of course, we'll see what happens. But I got Kansas City getting the win over the Eagles, pulling the three-peat, and heck, they might have a chance to four-peat as well. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Who do you guys think is going to win this Super Bowl? Is it the Philadelphia Eagles or the Kansas City Chiefs? Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Anyways, hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please make sure to do me a favor and smash that like button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time, I'll see you all in the next one. Ciao for now.